I remember the first moment I saw him walk toward the podium. Even before he took a step, the air in the courtroom had changed. It felt heavier, thick with expectation and the weight of everything that had led us to that moment. I was sitting in the back, trying to make myself invisible, but I could feel the gravity of the room pressing down on me. When the judge said his name, Marcus Hale, I watched him stand. There was a strange, almost unnatural stillness as he moved forward. Every eye was on him. I noticed the tension in the officers' hands, the slight flinch of the jurors as they looked at him. It felt like everyone was holding their breath, afraid to break the silence. The judge began to speak, and his voice was calm, steady, and deliberate. He explained that the court had thoroughly reviewed every part of the case, the guilt phase, the penalty phase, the evidence, and the arguments submitted by both the prosecution and the defense. I listened carefully, trying to take in every word. He spoke about weighing the aggravating factors the jury had found beyond a reasonable doubt against the mitigating circumstances presented by the defense. He emphasized that this process was not about counting factors, but about understanding the true weight and meaning of each one. Sitting there, it struck me how careful and methodical the process was meant to be, and yet how impossible it felt to reduce such profound suffering and cruelty into legal language. The judge spoke about the jury's unanimous recommendation to impose the death penalty. He said he had carefully considered it and agreed that the evidence supported their conclusion. As he described how the aggravating factors outweighed the mitigating circumstances, I felt a chill run through me. This was not just a legal decision, it was a moral judgment. I could see the weight of it on the jurors' faces, and I felt it deep in my chest, the enormity of what was about to be decided. Then the sentencing began. For the murder of 9-year-old Lily Carter, the judge sentenced Marcus Hale to death. The words echoed in the courtroom, final and absolute. He said Hale would be taken into the custody of the Florida Department of Corrections and confined at Florida State Prison until the governor selected a date for his execution, to be carried out according to Florida law. I could barely breathe. Then came the next sentences: life in prison without the possibility of parole for the sexual battery of a child under 12, and 30 years for aggravated child abuse. The sentences would run consecutively, one after another, a lifetime defined in legal terms. The judge explained that the death sentence would be automatically reviewed by the Florida Supreme Court and that attorneys would be appointed to represent Hale. What stayed with me most, though, was what the judge said afterward. He looked directly at Hale and told him there would be no physical redemption, that his body would remain incarcerated until the day of his death. But then his tone softened. He spoke about faith, about forgiveness, and said that regardless of Hale's beliefs, he still saw his humanity. He ended by saying, "May God have mercy on your soul." I remember feeling a shiver run through me. It was impossible not to. Just when it seemed the proceedings were over, the judge unsealed a card from Lily Carter's family. He read a line from scripture, "I thank God as I remember you." Inside the card was a photograph of Lily, her smiling face, her innocence frozen in time. They called her Butterfly. Looking at that picture, my heart broke all over again. The judge thanked the family, offered them a blessing, and formally concluded the hearing. I walked out of that courtroom changed. I carried the weight of everything I had witnessed: the loss of a child, the pursuit of justice, the fragile presence of humanity, and the uneasy coexistence of mercy and punishment. It is not something that ever leaves you.